Okay, video 3 of 3. This one is about 45 tickers. So this is a bad setup. You had the Trump bump, as they called it, and then the earnings reaction, pretty wild. And the third attempt failed at about the earnings reaction. And then whatever happened here, disaster. And now it's going back into a problem area. And I know that it has a tailwind from Buffett. So what the hell? I cannot guarantee you that it will not go back to 44 in the next couple of months, because it had every tailwind it needed and it lost its support and it cannot get back into it. It's trying to desperately. It's coming at it pretty fast. You can erase everything I've just said if you get to 52.50. If you get to 52.50, you're probably out of the woods and on your way to 55. I would not start along here. And if I bought the dip, I would exit here if I was a trader. As an investor, do your thing. The P&L is bleh, okay. I would rather put my money in Microsoft, for example, a better P&L. Or Chevron and Exxon, much better P&Ls. Let me double check that. Here's Chevron. 100 times better P&Ls. 100%, I should say. Okay, Pfizer. It was a buy the dip moment down here a couple of times. Up here, not for me. A good company. They have deep bench, I think. They have a lot of resistance between here and 28.50. Like bouncing off of 25 is one thing. Breaking through 28.50 is a different story. So you're stuck in the middle of a range. The range of what? Let me see. Do I have lines? I should have lines. Actually, I'm curious to see what my lines were on Oxy. Okay. Nothing that contradicts what I said. All right, so here, the area they needed to hold was this. And now this area should be, like, without a headline from the FDA, I don't know what it's going to take that out. And if it gets to 29, it's a flat-out short. A good support below. Don't lose 24.50 because then you'll go to the low 20s. Palantir, all in. Just sell everything, mortgage your kids, your house, your dogs, your cats, your birds, all in. No, I'm being sarcastic. Too expensive for my taste up here. I think, to say it nicely, I think I will have an entry point in the 50s this year. I'm patient. If I'm not long here, I should be able to say to myself, I missed it. I said these words $20 lower, and I'll say them again $20 lower if you rewind the time. We don't get it right, but it's better to miss than to get in too late. Yeah, you don't need to tell me that, George. I know all of that. Doesn't change anything I said here today. Okay, so for Palantir, awesome company. They grow fast, not that fast. Okay, it's 3 times more expensive than NVIDIA, and it doesn't even grow close to NVIDIA. So from that perspective, it's a no-brainer to choose NVIDIA over this one. Is that fair enough? Much better stock, much better company, much stronger company, and cheaper, 3 times cheaper almost on a price-to-sales basis. So this one, too expensive. Peloton. Wouldn't touch it. Would not touch it. If you bought the dip, kudos. You should look left and look at the mountain of sellers from here through 16 or 17 or 18. Like if you bought it for a trade, I think you got as much as you can. The sales are, I mean, they're okay. I haven't looked at the financials. So the gross margins are okay. Operational, not so good. Subscription, that's good. They make more money from subscriptions than the products. $2 billion in debt. Okay, half of it is covered. Statistics, price to sales 1.24. On the expensive side, not outrageously expensive. So, I mean, it's okay. This chart rallied too fast. You might be vulnerable for another dip towards 7. PayPal, not an obvious point of entry. I mean, you could get to 80 or 76 and it wouldn't change anything. If you take out the highs from 93 and change, you can probably get to above 100. But if I look left, this is a stock that would not stop falling. By the way, this trades with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin continues higher, this one gets a tailwind. This one and Square, for some reason, they go hand in hand a lot of the times with Bitcoin. Let me see, is that still the case? Yep. Look at it. It still tracks Bitcoin. So let's see 89.60. Let's see them take out 89.60. That's a scientific number. It's a fair value gap up there before they do the red thing. How about I rephrase? As long as you're below that letter R, you're at risk of coming down to 80, which wouldn't be a big deal. It would be a get long area. QS. Is it 0 yet? No, it will be. Do your homework. Find out exactly what their mission is now. I haven't looked at them in a couple of years. The mission, the way they described it before, I think they will fail. That's why they have no sales. But it's a matter of eureka or not. So if I were to invest in them, I would, let's say I wanted to put 2,000 because I have 200,000 to invest and 1% is okay. I would put 1,000. And if it falls back down to $4 or $4.80 or a low, I would add the second 1,000 and forget about it. And if it pops to 100, I made a bundle. I don't think they're going to be able to do what they wanted to do, which is put a solid state battery application on an EV. Roblox. This company knows how to make money, but it's just too high for me here. Wow. Okay, so are you asking me because you want to get long? I'm going to ask you, why didn't you do it a month ago? Or a couple weeks ago? Okay, that's why. No. So if these questions are coming from the same person, you're probably somebody that just started investing during the 2020 period of time, because this profile of a stock, that is not for me. Although this P&L is better than a lot of the other ones. 48 is an important pivot zone, 49. So the next dip towards 48, 49 would make a better entry. That's the chart comment. This doesn't mean it doesn't go straight up to 90 from here, but it will go there without me. Like personally, I want to enter positions that are potentially bargains. If you know your options, you can structure a position to go long here and not care. There are ways to do it, but you have to be an options ninja, and they are doable. So come into the live room, we can discuss it. Not an obvious point of entry. Buy the dip, yes. If you're an investor from a while back, you got in good. RGTI. Quantum computing. Okay, yeah. What do you need? My blessing, you don't have it. Do your homework. You decide if it's a good deal to get the stock, to get long a stock after 1,000% rally. Not for me. Rocket. Not for me. Don't be tempted. I don't think people realize how bad the market is. Is this a mortgage company? Yes. Listen, we might have a huge problem in the US. We might. Hopefully we don't, but we might. This selling is systemic. Look at it. Not for me. Not for me. Definitely not. I don't have a reason to go long here. Same with Ross. Ross and Coles. Technically, if you take out 160, 159, you can get to 167, 170, technically. It's just not for me from an investment perspective. I would rather buy the dip. Anything below 148 would be solid support. I don't know why they're so happy about it. Why is the stock so choppy when the P&L is so boring? Yeah, this is a better short up here. From let me rephrase. I don't want to be a short. This here feels like this here, and that. So you're susceptible for dips, maybe a shallow or a really dip. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said this stock is going to be at 109 in the next 3 months. I don't know if it is, but it could happen. It has happened before. Like this one right here, look, a huge pop, drop, pop, huge pop, drop, pop. We might be here. Let's copy it. From here, a huge pop to here. That looks pretty deep, but it's doable. Let's cut it in half. Support at 128 through 124. So you might have a better entry down there. StarBucks, I thought up here it was a short. Solid support below. Solid resistance above. You're right in the middle. Whether you go long or short, you're guessing. Those blue lines are important. They need to stay above them. I don't know why it would take 97.50 out. I think it's going to take months and months to tackle that out. One way you can do it is by delivering results. And now it has a new CEO who's proven himself in Chipotle. Let's see what he can do here. And maybe on the next earning, which is in about a month, they would say, oh yeah, we can do it. And we deliver, and they go up to 105 and break out. So it's a good investment, but not all in. And if you can hedge yourself around the earnings, it's a definite investment for the long term. Iron Condor, I mean, in theory, you would think, yeah, but I don't think it has that kind of premium. Like, I don't want to do an Iron Condor very close. So yeah, in theory, yes, but I don't think it's that kind of company. SE, not for me. SE fell into oblivion with PayPal and during the 2022 debacle. And we went long, and it was so difficult to win. And we were at 55, I think, 34. So I'm not inclined to get involved with it here up at the top. Several levels of support. I can borrow this and put it here. Duplicate it, put it here. All these are support zones. And conversely, if you say support zones, then you look left. Okay, so it can get to 190, 200, but it's going to have to deal with all of these scars from 2022. Look how fast it fell, and the P&L was still fine. So I don't trade a stock like this unless you're a momentum trader and they're buying dips. Just buy the dips as a momentum trader. If I'm an investor, I'm hard pressed to get in here. I don't know what this is. SoftBank. Like the SoftBank of old. You can trade this? Okay. Middle of the range. Buyers below, sellers above. Break 32.50, you get the 35.50. Lose recent support, you get the 24.50. Simple. Shopify, we're short and we made money. I think Shopify goes back down to 92. So be careful with your longs. We'll see. A lot of sellers at 113.50 or higher. A lot. I think there's an invisible wall of sellers here. And you do have support, but it needs to hold. I think you can sound the alarm at 104.50. Schlumberger. I forget what stock it was. Was it Oxy? They lost a potential neckline that was must hold. This is the same thing. So what's it going to take to get this above 41? A lot. And if you don't, you're going to retest the support. And if you lose that support at 36.50, you're going to end up at 34.50. So let's see if we can rephrase it. As long as you're below 41, I wouldn't expect bulls being in charge to deliver damage. So it's not a sell or a short. If you got long, you got long. I wouldn't add it. If you're looking to get long, I wouldn't go all in, and I don't think it's an emergency. 12 days before the earnings. Potential targets, they got met. I'm going to move this. SMCI, not for me. It's hard enough to forecast the company based on its own volition, and then on top of it, based on what happens in the market. On this one, maybe it's cheating, maybe it isn't. No thanks. I would rather be in NVIDIA or QQQ or SMH or ARM or Qualcomm. Why eat escargot? Yeah, you can make a ton of money here, but you're slave to a headline. That's a lot of luck. I'll go to Vegas, put it all on red in a roulette table. It's about the same odds of getting a headline go my way. I don't know exactly what financial engineering they did. I don't know if it's true or not. I just don't want to find out. I don't have an edge. Charts-wise, take out 50, you can get $15 out of it. Lose 18, you go to 6 or 8. So you have support, and it's scattered. You have resistance, and it's scattered. Headlines is what you're trading, and I'm not that good at the headlines. Snowflake. Rally was too big, and they're trying to price it out. They're selling rallies. It's going to be difficult to take out 170. If that's the case, it's going to be easier to get to 137, 142. So what if they do this? Something like that. Let's delete that. Take copy paste. What if whatever's been going on continues to go on? Yeah, that makes it sound like it needs to break down. It doesn't. They're selling rallies is what I'm saying here. That's better. Synopsis. Good company. Wow, look at the bottom line on that last quarter. What the hell? How does this happen, folks? This is a good P&L, and yet the stock is selling off and struggling to hold support. Now, with a P&L like this, I would say, okay, that support should hold. So there's no reason to lose 455. But if you do, you're going to the low 400s, which would make a pretty good entry. They're selling rallies. I don't know why it would take out 530. So the good news is you have an unbelievable business to defend your chart, and your chart has support. The bad news is, why does it need to test the support in this market? Why is it trading like this? So you have support through 450 and 390, and you have a lot of resistance. I don't think this thing can get back to 560. I think this is a wall. From the charts perspective. SOFI, I closed my short on this dip. I would re-engage with it. This stock has the opportunity to go back to 12. I think this path can, whoops, can happen again here. See here, it happened. It just took a detour. I think it can happen again here. Like this. This is perfect. They filled this one out, right? They have another one up here. Tiny one. And the high volume area. And this area is now resistance. They filled it, so we can take that hash art out. So this is a resistance area of interest. So I think it's easy to do this. And on top of it, if you lose this support right here, you're going to accelerate your drop by at least this much. Now this is if. If the red happens, the yellow is a threat and the blue is the target. And that's your 12. We got long at 5. So, okay, let me rephrase this. Okay, hold on for a second. This stock 6 months ago or 8 months ago was $7, $8, and $9. Just to put a little realism. I don't know what this is. Solid P&L, software solutions for financials. Look at, they had one giant dip. They bought it like it's cake. So any approach of 70 or lower is a buy to dip opportunity, and the breakout is right there. This is a flag of sorts. If you take that out, you're going to be at 85, 83 to 85. So if you're long, I get it. If you're looking to get long, I get it. Even momentum traders, investors, leave room to add a little bit lower. You might get an opportunity if the markets drag it down. STZ, terrible price action. Descending wedge, earnings in 5 days. Technically speaking, it has the ability to bounce to 235. Not a forecast, but it has that ability. Support below, but I don't know what they're going to say and how people will react to it. So that's iffy. Like, there's a potential of it going to 184. How so? Once they lost 240, give or take, they created $20 to $30 of downside. They filled 20, 30 is down here. So 208 matters. And wouldn't you know it, that's a HOP. Below 208, this bounce is not in the cards. Until then, they're selling rallies. I would assume that this rally sells and you get an opportunity to get in below 208. Headline is 5 days. We shall see. 1 second. Okay. I don't know what this is. I don't trade this junk. What is this? SVOL to provide daily investment. No. I don't do this. Are you looking to short the market? Do VIX. Buy VIX calls 60 days out. When it drops, sell a put spread. Finance the calls for free. SWK. On SVOL, I cannot help you. I mean, there's nothing. It's erratic. The chart is totally erratic. Okay, Stanley Works. I'm long and struggling via a credit put spread. I only took one contract for myself. I would take the shares if I'm not going to defend the credit put spread. This is a solid entry point for the stock. And if it's a small position, I would rather get assigned the shares, sell my protective put, and then sell the shares, and I wouldn't end up losing any money. We'll see how it plays out. If you're in that trade and it's large, you might want to cut it down to size. As long as they close above 80, we're good. And so that's basically it. If I'm looking to invest in this company, having a good P&L, this would be a starting point. Look, base, how many times? Since 2022. Solid place. Symbolic. So this is a robotics company. Robotics makes sense to me, and that's a good a bet as any if you can stomach the risk of shenanigans with the financials. So look into it. Technically speaking, you're inside of a base, and you could get to 31. And if you can, you might be able to get to 36. The TLT needs a bounce ASAP, otherwise it's going lower. And if it does go lower, it's like, what the fudge is going on in the US? Needs to hold, abso-freaking-lutely. There's no way I would accept a breakdown here without a change in rhetoric. I need somebody from the government to explain to me why would the TLT come down to 84. I know some of you believe that, no, that's normal, seasonality or whatever. I don't believe so. I've mentioned the warning about that weeks ago, and everything I spoke about weeks ago is now being talked about. So I know I'm not crazy with this. The TLT needs to hold. So it makes for a long position because the alternative of it breaking down is so bad and so wrong that the pop is coming. We had 3 of them, and they all failed. But luckily, they haven't lost a lower low yet. So you have this versus that. Pop. That's what I would guess needs to happen, because this is just not logical. Because it would suggest rate hikes. So I tell you how that happens. Wait, what's today's date? 1/5. Is this a jobs week? The end of this week could be a huge move for the TLT. If they announce the jobs report this week, I haven't checked. That could be the big mover on the TLT. And some whatever CPI number that comes out next. TMDX, Transmedics Group. Don't know what they do. It looks like they're bottoming at 57 or 58. As long as you're holding 58, you can price out the damage up to 84. But you do have to be able to overcome 73. 73 is a big problem. 73. What you want is if it dips, you want it to do that. If you lose the low, you're going to come down to 45. The market's closed on Thursday. Why are we closed on Thursday? I don't know what that is. Look at how accurate this is. Who is this? Toll Brothers. No touchy. Oh yes, no touchy. No touchy. I think this dip is different in the home builders. And if it is, I don't think the stock is going to ever recover 145 this quarter. And if that's the case, it might drift lower. It's just not for me. So far, they've been unbelievably resilient, and they proved me wrong all along. But this dip might be different, which means they're going to be selling rallies. That's my guess. And if that's the case, it's going to drift lower in the next 6 months down to lower than 100. I'll stop there. Tesla, all in. Just mortgage the kids and everybody. Okay. I think they want to sell the rally. Let's see if that happens. If you want a box that's important, let's take one right here and put it around here. That's an important box for Tesla. It is not this kind of resistance. And it's not this kind and red. This based on this one candle right there. Let's see what they do with this one. And one of these is up here. We can delete that one. And if they lose 372, they will come down to 330. I wouldn't short it. I would short the idea of a rally. And I think people are expecting the self-driving to bring it all kinds of money. I think they're misreading the headlines. Only time will tell. Uber. If you're long Tesla and long Uber at the same time, that might make sense actually. Tesla, if it's smart, it should come to Uber and say, I can help you cut half your sales force. Or I mean, your workforce. That is not your workforce officially because they're 1099s. So if Tesla produces the self-driving cars and becomes, quote, legal to have them, Uber should have the fleet, not Tesla, because they know how to run it already. Anyway, 69 is an exit point from me. They're selling rallies. This was correct. It played out. Okay. And I think they're not done, although they met it perfectly. This R is now down here. So they might retest the support. And if they do and lose it, they might come down to 55. Much better support. When it came out to on the market, I think I bought it around 52 on the IPO shares. Yeah, I remember saying that. Uranium. Do your homework on the whole uranium thing. I think there's a lot of hoopla. So there's truth to it. It's investable. I put an arrow, said doable or vulnerable, like here, buy the dip, and it happened. Buy the dip, and it happened. So if you bought the dip, good job. That's what I said to do. Buy the dip, right? So I'll do it this way so people would know. And this rally, if it makes a higher high, then it's totally investable and tradable. And if they're going to face a lot of selling into 31. So technically speaking, this is a lot of R. And this is support below here. So you're kind of stuck right now. Buy the dip would be probably done right now via selling puts to own shares. I don't know anything about it. What is this? Is this an ETF? Yeah. So just buy the dip next time it happens. Don't chase the rip. Visa, everything I said about MasterCard applies here. Not inspiring of a new entry point. The opportunity is for it to buy the dip, and it does offer dips for some reason. It looks like 7 or 8% happens often enough, and sometimes you get lucky and you get 12%. So why not get long when they close out the Trump bump? So I don't understand this. Okay, deregulations on banks, but he also said he's going to cap credit card rates, which might disincentivize banks lending more. So the Visa transactions might drop. I just wouldn't touch it until it fills that Trump bump gap. VALE, it does not find a floor, I avoid it. The stock that does not find a floor, like CVS, I avoid it. You have a support zone through 7. If you're long already, good luck with that. If you're looking to get long and you know the business, go long inside of that, but leave room to buy more lower. Okay, get long however you get long. Someone needs to explain to me why is it selling like it's going out of business. I don't know what VIC is. Viking, okay, what is that? Pharmaceuticals? No, that's weird. I don't know what that is. Oh, cruises. Yeah, not for me. Better at 40. Close these candles, and we'll see what happens. Let's see if they can take out 47, 46.8. If they do, they can get to 53. So if you're a trader buying the dip into this wick, I get it. I get it. This is a pivotal zone from this circle, from that, and from this. So this here should be solid support right there. If you bought the dip into that for a curl back up and a breakout, I get it. As an investor, I think you might get an entry point lower. Vertiv, nice buy the dip, and now it must hold. On the next, like this is tough and this is tougher. If it dips, you need to hold. If you lose 110, you're going to test 100. And if you lose 100, you're going to 88. That is going to be very difficult to get there. But it hasn't been long since it was there. So it was there in September. And the PNL is not that much better. I don't know why this big jump in it. So they must have had new talking points. Nevertheless, Wall Street Boots Alliance. Avoid. What do you know? How do you trade this junk? Price action, not the company, the price action, complete junk. I mean, this is a level from 1996. I don't know how to trade a stock that fell into 1996 when we have the most aggressive year I've ever seen in my entire life. Having said that, take out 1140, you get the 15. So I don't want to get you out. I just want you to know that that is going to be amazing to take out if you can ever. And if you can, you're going to get rewarded. Williams-Sonoma. If the U.S. has a problem in spending, this is where you're going to feel it first, here and places like Hog. Meanwhile, look at this chart. I don't get it. I don't get how the chart is that happy and the P&L is that boring. And NVIDIA is not at an all-time high. See the discrepancy? Which makes this a short. Sell this to buy NVIDIA would be my thesis. Not for me. I wouldn't touch this unless it goes below 160 for me, my own purpose. You can't short it. You have a catalyst right here. A new high would bring buyers up to 222. Versus if you lose Thursday's low, whatever that is, oh my God, talk about manipulation. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this stock. This is not natural. The market maker in this stock is in control of you. You take a position, they're going to punish you. So make sure you don't play short-term options on this one. 178, you lose that, you're probably going to go to 150. Wisdom tree. What is this? Does it track something? Leveraging blockchain. I don't know what it does. Anyway, this stock is falling into a wide band of support from here on through 930. You can be long as they're above 940. And these two orange arrows might happen. If you get down to 960, you can write off this second orange. So the first one might be at the top. Tradable, yes, I would be exiting at 11. XLC. I think this is just two stocks. I forget who they are. I'm going to say Meta. Anyway, XLC, what is this? What is this, Wall Street? Explain to me, what is this tick right there overnight? Look at that. exactly that. And again, so I'm going to say you better not lose 92.2. If you do, you're going to 94. Sorry. Is that 92? 96.2. If you lose it, you're going to 94. Meanwhile, you have the opportunity to break out from 99 and change. So it's a $3 wide battle. Let's put a line around it. And let's put a circle around WTF. XLF. I am short, long term, long short term. What does that mean? I own a put that is losing money, but I'm selling puts against it. And it's not a large position, just to get it out of my system. The financials had a huge rally from the Trump election headline. Luckily, they priced most of it out. Right here, the XLF has a catalyst at 49.2. So I wouldn't buy a put if I were you here. It's kind of a tricky situation. They have more upside. But that purple line was a neckline that they lost. So I think the purple line is a big battle. So track JP Morgan and Berkshire. Those are the two largest companies in there. Of course, Visa, MasterCard, they're also top 4 or 5. And Bank of America, there's RGTI or whatever the heck it is. So you should actually, there they are right here. Those are them in order of importance. Berkshire, JP, Visa, MasterCard, Bank of America, Wells, Goldman, and SPGI. Support below, resistance above. Not going to be easy to make money either way. XLK, basically tied to the hip, I think, with NVIDIA, no? Middle of the range. Sellers above, buyers below. The buyers look stronger than the sellers. So maybe if you take out 242, you go to 250 and the market makes a new high. Totally doable. You have a problem at 238. Okay? And it's not going to be easy to take out 238. And you have support from the low on Thursday, and support from the low on the 20th. Lose that, you come down to 222, and we're not making a new high. XLV, fallen the most because of the elections events, and now maybe in the hands of the sellers. They are selling rallies. That's a fact. So the fact that we might get a rally, you have to assume that they're going to sell it off. Although this looks like a pretty good consolidation zone with a backup consolidation zone around 130. So I would be saying, okay, there's a support here and here. So you can get this rally, but the hard floor is now resistance. Okay, so explain to me if I never can understand how the discretionary, I think this is a lot of Tesla in here. Am I correct, people that are in the room? So the concept of a discretionary fund, right? And if the consumer is getting tired, you think they ditch the discretionary first and they go to the staples, but that is not what happened last year. So I'm going to tell you, if we lose 220 on the discretionary, we're going to get to 210, which will be another support. Amazon and Tesla, yeah. Okay, so I get it on the Amazon, but the Tesla, I don't get it. And it's going to be difficult to take out 232, but totally doable, and a catalyst if you can. Maybe they're selling rallies. It's about the same statement as the market in general. XOP, if I enjoyed the dip, the buy the dip, I would be exiting here if it was a trade. Okay, and these are support resistance areas up here. So maybe you drop halfway and you hold up the support, and you better not lose the support. So I think you're stuck. The easy money has been made. You don't need to exit. It depends on your intentions. XYL. I don't know what that is. Xylem? How do you pronounce that? Technologies. Water industry. Yeah, we need more water. But the market does not need more water stocks, it looks like. All right, you have support through 108. If you lose it, the next support is at 104 or 97. They're selling rallies. So if it comes up to 124, I would exit my longs. Zscaler, crazy stock. It goes far in both directions. I told you that. Up here, everybody wanted to chase it to the moon. It's going to 300. And then down here, nobody's looking to chase it to the moon when you should be. This is a target 1 of 2 that we traded, that we drew. And now nobody wants it. Up here, everybody wants it. Down here, nobody wants it. I'm not going proponent of it. I'm just telling you. So now this one is red and a problem. It's not quite scientific, almost. Actually, it almost is. Perfect. And this line is a problem. So what I can do is, while I have you here, I would move this way to visually say, okay, target 1 has been met, target 2 might still be ongoing. If they don't break out into this red box, they're probably going to drift towards target 2. And with that, folks, we finished today's charts. Thank you for submitting one.